Hi there, fellow orcs and other gamers. This is Asbog, the gaming orc, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how they fight the bosses. Currently in the game, there's only 3 bosses. You got the Necromancer, you got the Swine Prince or Hog or whatever, and then you got the Hag. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Necromancer. The Necromancer has a few attacks. He has a few AoE attacks. But the biggest problem with the Necromancer is that every action he does, he summons a skeleton. So as you can see in this video, and from my tips and tricks video, if you need help on fighting these bosses, watch my tips and tricks videos. But you just want to know what maybe you're doing wrong, because I wiped on the Swine Prince. Anyways, this Necromancer, see, he just clawed me there. Well, every time he attacks, he summons a skeleton. So you kind of need to have AoE abilities, or he'll move to like the back rank if you just want to have the skeletons. The skeletons are pretty weak. So again, you can see me, I'm using this AoE ability, which I tell you guys in my tips and tricks video. Basically, the AoE stuff is really powerful. And then you want to do like direct damage if you can. And most of these boss fights, you want to try to put like, they have a lot of HP, so you want to put dot damage. But if you do use like the AoE attacks to clear out the skeletons, and if you're the proper level to be fighting this boss, you should have no problem beating the Necromancer. This next boss I had problems with originally. I actually had a party and they all wiped against this guy. This guy's a Swine Prince or Swine Lord or whatever you want to call it. He's got himself, which he's like a large unit who takes up 3 spaces, and he's got Wilbur, who sticks in the back and flags your opponents, flags your party members. So the first thing you're thinking to yourself is like, man, I want to attack that little pig. He's got 14 HP. And what I figured out is basically if you kill Wilbur in the back, this guy is going to go berserk. He's going to just hit you with an AoE stun after AoE stun, and you're going to die. You're going to wipe, and you're going to try to retreat, and you might not be able to retreat. It might say like retreat failed. So you want to try to go into this fight again at the proper level. You want to try to use your camp right before. You have max weapons, and then you have max armor first. And then what you do is you just wear this guy down. I don't have really, you can see I have my thief in the second row there. And I'm trying to buff myself, so I just actually used a focus there. And then with I love using the bounty hunter. I think he's real powerful. If I had a warlock or whatever in the second slot is something I'm trying out, you can have him in the second slot where the thief is at, and he can like try to debuff the Swine Prince, and then your bounty hunter can just go to town on mark and debuff target. Otherwise, you can see my rogue here. I'm thinking about, I accidentally shot Wilbur there, and this is a part where I had to retreat, because you can see he's starting to enter this rage, and see he just tried to AoE stun me, and I have to retreat. But don't worry, I come back. I don't show it in the video, but I come back and beat him. Now in this next section, or the last boss that this game has, is this Hag, and it's pretty funny. You can see one of my guys is actually in the stew already. Basically, the pot, depending on what level you're fighting at, is going to have around like 15-20 HP. So he has 15 HP. I think it scales up. The pot gets harder and harder to break open, and every action that happens in combat, whoever's in the stew is going to take like 3 to 4 damage. It depends on how hard it is, but you have to beat the stew, and immediately the Hag will throw one of the other party members in it. See, I broke someone out. So you can see I have a plague doctor in here who's like, can throw the bombs in the last proportion. So you could catch bad luck and get thrown in the stew twice. And it'd be pretty bad, So again, I like the bounty hunter, because the bounty hunter can attack the last unit and he can attack the first unit. And I have to have a single target DPS attack the first unit, and then I have the plague doctor. See, I went for the bull there because I just wanted to get him out, and then he can heal himself if he needs to. And again, I use a battle camp, or I use a camp before I go into the fight, so I'm buffed up. And you could use the buff where you have fighting larger creatures. So again, you can't destroy the pot. So you have to dwindle the hag down. She's pretty susceptible to dots. So again, you could just dot her up and just kill her. So these are basically the boss fights in a nutshell. The hag might be the hardest one. I got close to, one of my party members got close to dying on that one, but it wasn't a big deal. I still was able to beat it. Again, if you follow my tips and tricks, I've actually just maxed out my blacksmith, and now I'm just gonna wait till they actually release the new dungeons, because I'm not gonna like grind my way up to like level 6. But I'm just waiting for more content to come to the game. I played the game about 20 hours, so it's really fun. It's pretty challenging, but again, if you follow my tips video, this game actually is a lot simpler. So you use AoE attacks. You know, you're using these powerful dots. One thing I noticed with the Joker has a single target dot. Later on or whatever, it starts doing 6 damage per turn on the opponent. And that, remember, bleed stacks. So the Joker buff's real powerful. I think if you try to team up, one thing I'm trying out, like I said, I'm putting the Warlock in the second slot, and he has an Ulrich arm which he can bring out of the ground, and he'll stun the opponent. Now you have your Bounty Hunter in there who does a finish him move. Finish him does 50% more damage on stunned targets. I also like the Leper over this Barbarian Queen, because her AoE attack is not that good, and the Leper has very good power. There's also some really strong items that give you powerful dodge. So I originally thought my Joker was just going to be like terrible, but I gave him a couple items. Like this Leper has slippery shoes, and so my Joker has insane dodge, and I stick him in the second slot. So he has like 20 dodge from items. And when the opponent attacks you and misses, you mitigate all that damage. And they waste an attack. So the Joker's he's just it's really powerful. You see I just destroyed the hag, and the pot's destroyed automatically. So hopefully there's a few more tips in this game. Again, just retreat if you're ever in real danger. Like, just know your limits. If you play the game for a while, you'll be able to mitigate the damage. And I sometimes don't even need a healer in the party, because I'll just drop kick the opponent so quick. And then you have a camp. So just bring enough food, and you don't need the healer really. Talk to you guys later. See you guys in the next chapter. Hope these tips help.